What's going on, guys? I wanted to have a conversation with you about Kanye West's new album, Donda, and just go over some thoughts and try to talk about it, I guess, with just like a little bit of just nuance and some level of maturity, because I feel like the album's been getting pretty much memed to death. I feel like it's become like some sort of just like a fad or meme to like dunk on it and like crap on the album. And to me, I think that this album actually might be something really special. Now, the first time that I was taking a look at this album a few days back, I'm not gonna lie, like I feel like my mind was poisoned by like Twitter haters at first, because I had been hearing like such mixed reviews and people basically saying like, oh man, like this album's garbage, that Kanye West fell off, like this is trash. And I'd been hearing like so much just negativity surrounding the album that when I finally went in to actually like listen to it myself, I feel like in my head I was already thinking like, oh, okay, yeah, so this is gonna be trash. Like, like why? Of course, it's gonna be bad. Kanye West, it hasn't been the same since like College Dropout. Blah blah blah. Like all of that old rhetoric, basically. And so I listened to like the first couple of songs, and I was like, all right, whatever. But I came back to it with a different headspace, right? So like I stopped listening to it, but then like I went outside, got in the nature a little bit, right? Got done working out, and I decided to just like turn it on while I was doing some like yard work and stuff, like working around the house and everything, and just like try to be open-minded and give it a real listen. And I really think that this album is something special, man. And like, I'm not one of those people that tries to be like super pretentious when it comes to art, like smelling my own farts and saying like, people just don't get it, bro. Like, you're not deep enough to understand. Like, that kind of stuff just gives me a brain aneurysm, and I hate it. And like, I'm not a big fan of like gatekeeping and trying to tell people how they should be enjoying their musical experiences, like that's not my thing, and I think that's whack. But what I feel like when it comes to Donda, right, is that, so I think a lot, especially when it comes to like hip hop and stuff right now, maybe even just music as a whole, a lot of us come to it to be, let's see, I guess like entertained, or like to have music like make us happy, or just like get us like hyped up and stuff. Like a lot of people want to go into a song or have music make them feel like hype and energetic and like ready to go fist fight. And especially with hip hop music, man, I think that there's like this, like people are looking for like a certain type of beat or like a certain type of flow over a track in order for it to be considered like, yo, this is hot. And like, I don't think Kanye on this album was concerned with trying to give you like heat. He wasn't trying to give you the next like fall, winter, spring, summer banger. I don't think that's what he was trying to do with this album. To me, this album was really like raw. I feel like that I got a chance to understand a piece of like who Kanye West is at this moment in his life through this album. And I think that's something like extremely special, like listening to this album and like thinking about like the emotions and the thoughts that I had going through my head while I was listening to it. It really made me like question how I view music and my relationship to music, if that makes any sense. Like, it made me kind of like reevaluate the fact that like music doesn't just have to be like hype with some like crazy like addictive beat behind it to be worthwhile, but like music ultimately is a form of expression, right? Like, it's art. Like, there's not just one right way to make music or to listen to it. And I think like one of the most major goals, right, of like any musician and any artist in general is for them to be able to express their feelings and who they are to the audience through the medium of their art, and in this case it would be through the album Donda, through Kanye West's music. And I feel like he does such a good job of this, man. Like, I feel like he's he's hella vulnerable, and not even just through the lyrics, right? Because the lyrics themselves are actually really open and vulnerable, and like you can tell that he's in a pretty insecure place right now. Not that that's the only emotion, but you get this sense that he's kind of just it's melancholy, you know. It's kind of a melancholy album, but not even just through like direct lyrics, but like just through the vibe and the ambiance of the songs, you know, like the way that the instrumentals are layered upon one another, like the choice of chords that he's using, the choice of artists and like where tracks are. Like he is able to just create this atmosphere of just that's just he kind of takes you to another world, you know, like he transports you to his brain. And like how many pieces of music and art can say that they do that to a person, you know? Like that's something that most artists would be able to kill to be able to do, is to like allow you to briefly be transported into their world where you can really see their emotions and like how they feel about things and all of that. Like that's powerful, man. And like to me, that's the mark of somebody who is a master of their craft, you know, somebody that's able to take you into like their reality marble, right? Like they're able to take you into their world and to like transport you, even like during just that little bit of time that you're with their piece of art. If you're able to do that, then you've done something special, you know. And I feel like Donda does that, man. It may not be what people expected, you know, like, as people expect like catchy hits from Kanye, and just like I think there's like all these expectations on Donda, and I feel like he subverted them. Not that he like didn't meet them, I don't think that's the case at all. I think that in this album, Kanye was communicating who he is, where he's at in his life, and just celebrating his appreciation for like his mother, and just like so like he was attempting to communicate so many things to the audience, and I feel like he's just getting memed on, and I feel like that just does such a disservice to Kanye and the listener both, you know. Like people are so concerned with just dunking on the dude, and not saying that he doesn't deserve to get dunked on, because we all know Kanye has said and done some just head ass stuff. Like we all know this, Kanye knows this, man. But like to take away from, I think, just like the artistic prowess that he's showing with this album, and like to me that's just like that's ignorant, you know. Like you can't take away from the intelligence and the artistic ability of this person just because you feel like memeing on him and dunking on him and he didn't give you that hype shit that you were wanting. Like, not that there isn't like hype and high energy stuff on this album, man, but like to me, I could be completely wrong, man. Like I could be like missing the entire takeaway that he wanted to give people from this album. But I honestly feel like if you come to this album with a certain mindset, if you're able to get out of expectations, like step away from like what everybody else is trying to tell you about it, and just really and sit down and listen to like the project as a whole, like you can't tell me that you won't come away from it feeling something, you know. And to me, like that's special, man. Like there's a lot of songs that I've listened to over the past few years that I can say are catchy, or that like I really like a lot, or like they get stuck in my head. Like that's cool, man. But like it's been a while, right, since like an album made me feel like I understood the artist better and took me to a different place while I was listening to it, you know. Like I can't think of a whole lot of albums at all in the past few years that have done that to me, man. And Donda did it, you know. Not even saying that this is like my favorite album of all time, or that like anybody who doesn't like it is ignorant or stupid. I don't think that at all, man. But I think that just like give Kanye his roses for what he was able to do in this album, because I sincerely think that it's something special. So that's kind of just what I want to talk about, man. Let me know you guys' thoughts, you know. Talk to me in the comments, like hit me up with what you thought, like how you felt about it, if you loved it, if you hated it, and I just want to have a conversation, man. So with that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. Be good, and I'll talk to you guys later.